Ooh, what's good, family? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Oh no, we got some super duper breaking news, super duper Pikachu news for your mans. Canelo, Bumelo, Alvarez, Oscar De La Sniffer has aired him out well and truly. Jumped on the hate train with this one. So, some cat tweeted Oscar De La Sniffer on Twitter, obviously, and he said the following: huge fights are coming up for Golden Boy. Let's talk Zerdo, Ryan, Munguia, Ortiz. Benavidez versus Canelo. Hand emoji. Yeah? Now that really is quite a innocuous, whatever that word is, yeah, that word. Tweet. Really? And no one even mentioning Canelo. And I guess people will say that Oscar De La Sniffer's mad, but listen, sometimes when people are mad, that's when the best truths get spilt. Oops. Yeah, here we go then. Benavidez versus Canelo. I'm thinking actually, yeah, Benavidez isn't Golden Boy, his PBC. So really, Oscar De La Sniffer's got no involvement in this post at all. Yeah? Someone tweeted him about Zerdo and Ryan and Munguia and Ortiz, who I believe are all managed by him. And as far as, I'm not really sure how Twitter works, but I'm pretty sure De La Hoya responded with this. Oh no, I'm not sure. Scrap it. Either way, yeah. Some cat, somehow, some way, Benavidez versus Canelo got posted up in front of Oscar De La Sniffer. His response to that was the following: Canelo will never fight him. He's too young and talented. Oh my god. This is truly peak. And listen, I'm someone, whilst I don't highly rate Canelo's last performances, I don't rate how he went out sad against Bivol. That was not legendary. Yeah, there was nothing great, there was nothing Hall of Fame about the way Canelo lost to Bivol. He lost like any other bum, to be quite frank. I've seen random ass dudes like Craig Richards lose to Bivol. And to be quite frank, Craig Richards, he actually put on a better fight. That was a close, God's honest truth, go back and watch it. Craig Richards, a random UK guy, gave Bivol as good a fight, if not better, than Canelo. Yeah? Oops. So don't tell me about greatness. And then to add insult to injury, fair enough, yeah? Sean Porter made a good point. Sean Porter said he expected Canelo to beat Bivol in the rematch. He thought he was going to go away and learn a lot. And that's why Sean Porter was expecting Canelo to pop Triple G's cherry for him and lay him cold. Instead, we saw what we saw. Canelo gassed after... I mean, when I say gassed, bear in mind, people, he's fighting a 50-year-old man. Canelo's in there in the prime of his life. By the way, self-admitted prime of his life. Canelo, the whole camp, the whole build-up for this fight, yeah, all we heard about was how prime Canelo was. You're in there with a OAP-looking ass, old Lofkin. Gennady old Lofkin. And really, Golovkin wasn't even trying to fight, truth be known. He wasn't. Golovkin was in there just trying to survive. You were in there with a dude who just really was a punching bag for the first few rounds. He weren't looking to fight at all. What did Canelo do? He went in there and ran out of gas. How can you run out of gas against the old man? And by the way, again, I didn't ask Canelo to say anything. He was the one saying he's going for the knockout. He lured all of his fans in. I watched it in real time. At the bookies, on the gambling. Yeah, a whole bunch of money went on to Canelo stopping Golovkin. Whole bunch. He's too old, and I'm serious. I'm super duper serious. I'm stopping this old guy. It's personal between me and you. That's what Canelo said. 2-2s. He in there. All the way out of gas. All the way out of any friction. Any type of way he felt about Golovkin. He damn sure didn't show it in the last 5 rounds. Yeah? Where was all that smoke? Where was it all? Where was all that bad friction? Don't no one know. Nowhere to be found. That's where it was. Yeah? And then at the end of the fight, in fact halfway through the fight, they was both tapping each other's gloves. The fuck at the start of rounds. Respect. You man are supposed to be arch enemies. You're supposed to be getting at it right now. Instead, Canelo in there. Shit out of luck, bottom line. Yeah, Canelo was shit out of luck, bottom line. So anyway, like I said, I ain't really too impressed with Canelo Alvarez right now. I'm just not. When you think about the amount of money he's made from the sport, what's he really given back, innit? What great nights. What nights can you sit there and say Canelo's really given part of himself that night? None. He didn't push against Golovkin. He didn't push against Bivol. He didn't push against Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Every time Canelo's come up against a Hall of Famer, he's gone out sad. Bottom line. Don't get me wrong. He can beat up on bums. Well good. You know what I'm saying? He is the real bum slayer. Is Canelo. Anyway, it's all relevant because bear in mind what I've just said. Yeah, Canelo loves to fight a bum and he don't really turn up when it matters. 2-2s. Canelo, bottom line, yeah, at 168, people keep saying, Canelo man fans tell me, oh, Canelo's wiped out the division. Okay, if he has. David Benavidez is hungry right now. And what does Canelo say in response to Benavidez? Oh, I'm not fighting Mexicans. My man fought the biggest Mexican at the time. What's his name? Chavez's son. At the time, he was the biggest Mexican, Chavez. Even though he's no good still, he was the biggest Mexican. Funnily enough, Canelo couldn't stop him. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he's been stopped as well. It just shows how much lack of ambition Canelo really has. Canelo at the start of his career was fighting loads of Mexicans, no problem. Now though, conveniently, listen. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's actually rude and disrespectful to the sport. Everyone else has to fight. Who does that? Who makes sport about race? I'm not fighting. Imagine if someone else said that. Imagine if someone else said, oh, I'm not fighting any. It's weird. Like, who does that? It's sport. Sport's about, are you the best or not? And I suggest, if Canelo doesn't want to fight a fellow countryman, he needs to drop the belt and retire. Because that's not how sport works. Imagine if a football team or a basketball team said, oh, I'm not playing. Imagine if LeBron said, oh, I'm not playing against Miami Heat because there's too many black players in there. There'd be uproar, wouldn't there? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever team. Let's say there's a big finals, yeah? I'm not sure what they call it in the NBA, but let's say it's the final, I don't know. Let's say it's the big thing in the NBA, yeah? The playoffs or whatever they call it. Imagine LeBron's about to play another team. Oh, I'm not playing because there's black people in the team. Imagine that. Who does that? People would laugh him off the TV, and rightfully so. But Canelo, who at this point in time, the best guy happens to be Mexican. And you're telling me you're not fighting him? What? You need to drop the belt and move on then. And go and retire. Yeah? Because Canelo, for me, has got way too big for his boots. Way too big. I don't know who he thinks he is. Fair enough, yeah? If Canelo had gone out like a warrior against Bivol, I'll be thinking, you know what I mean? I'd feel a lot different right now. Has he kind of half earned it? No, but you know what I mean? You can kind of justify things. But when you're out here, not really giving anything to the sport, don't forget, Canelo has milked all of the May days, all of the September days. He's milked them. He's milked the culture. And really, he hasn't given much back. Every time Canelo's been required to give something more, he hasn't. He's been happy to lose. He's been happy to coast. That's not a $30 million performance. That's not a Cinco de Mayo performance. Yeah? That's not Mexican style. That's not greatness. And now you've got a young hungry buck, not an old Lovkin. Yeah? Not a Caleb Plant Pot who can't punch. Now I'm not saying that Benavidez, I think Canelo can beat Benavidez. If he has a full gas tank. I mean, and that's the intriguing thing. Really, I never used to rate Benavidez, and I still don't. He hasn't fought no one. But what I will say is, Benavidez has proven he can beat. What's the guy's name? He's not a big name, but he beat a guy called Gavril. I'm telling you now, those were tough fights. and Benavidez came out on top. Gavril, for me, is one of the best in the division. Most people don't know him, but go back and watch them fights. Benavidez versus Gavril. Gavril's solid, man. Proper solid. If you ask me, Gavril would beat everyone else in the division, to be quite frank. He'd washed Plant, in my opinion. Gavril pushed Benavidez to the limit, and that's how good he is. But the point is, Benavidez, for me, has half proven himself with that win over Gavril. And at the end of the day, yeah, that's the whole point of being a contender. You can't prove yourself until you beat the champion. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'd like Benavidez to fight other people, like Plant or whoever, but at the end of the day, man, he don't have a belt. You know what I'm saying? It's not really his job in that sense. Your job as a champion is to defend against the best guys. And Canelo is the champion right now. And the best guy is Benavidez. I ain't trying to hear about how you ain't fighting Mexicans. It's disgraceful. It really is. The fact he's even allowed to say that. He should be pulled up immediately. Yeah? Drop the belts and retire. That's what you need to do. Who does he think he is to tell the governing bodies? They're wetters. That's the problem, you see. The governing bodies are completely corrupt. Clearly, Canelo feels empowered to do what he wants. I'm not fighting Mexicans. Basically, what Canelo said was, I'm not fighting the best in the division. That's what he said. Who does that? I've already told you. Imagine LeBron saying, I'm not fighting the best, or I'm not playing the best in the division. He'd be laughed out of the arena, and rightfully so. But this carrot top looking ass, his ego is way too big, and I'm sorry, he hasn't actually earned it. Yeah, he's beat up a lot of bums, but when it came to the big moments, he hasn't delivered. I'm not impressed. Yeah? He hasn't performed the way he's carrying on. Fair enough, yeah. If Canelo was performing in a way that kind of made the fight irrelevant, let's say, for example, yeah, Canelo just ran through Bivol, or just ran through Golovkin, I'd be kind of thinking, you know what? Benavidez, he don't stand a chance. So, even though it still doesn't make no sense, but do you know what I'm saying? If Canelo ran through Bivol, yeah, I could say, well, listen, man, he stopped Bivol, and listen, Bivol is a big, as strong version as Benavidez. Benavidez is food. At least then you could say Canelo's earned the right to be bougie. You ain't earned shit. For all we know, you're going to gas out after 7 rounds. Because I'm not being funny. Canelo, yeah, he doesn't hit that hard. Who's he knocked out? Oops. Yeah. For all we know, yeah, Benavidez goes in there, tight guard, lets Canelo punch himself out after 3 rounds, and then goes to work. Not being funny, old Golovkin, he was able to do that. And he had no gas tank and no ambition. And Benavidez is huge. A full 160. Really, Benavidez is like a 171 pounder. Isn't bang in the middle. Between super middle and light heavyweight. He ain't Golovkin, who's a well and truly a 160 pounder. He's a proper 170 pound fighter. He ain't no Caleb Plant and Billy Joe sausages. To be quite frank, Billy Joe, he's a blown up 150 pounder as well. Billy Joe and Golovkin both came from 154, I'm sure. Yeah? Your man's Benavidez, he's brimming at 168. Yeah? He's full. He's engorged at 168. And he want you carrot top. And for me, if Canelo ducks his fight, honestly, his whole thing is in the toilet, in my opinion. And Benavidez made a great shout. I'm not even Mexican. Or he's only half Mexican. Like, you know what I mean? Imagine what Canelo's got to say to duck this fight. Oh, I'm not fighting anyone who's got any Mexican blood. If you've got a drop of Mexican blood, I'm not fighting you. I think the Charlos need to go and get a blood test. Is that what? Wait a minute. Is that what Canelo's saying? All opponents at 160 and 168 need to go and get blood tests, because if you have one drop of Mexican blood, I can't fight you. Because Benavidez is not full Mexican, so that's what he's saying. Yeah, Canelo's saying everyone needs to get a DNA test. What a clown. I mean, the guy, honestly, man, get this guy out of here. I'm not impressed. I already wasn't impressed. Get this guy out of here. I ain't trying to hear no more about Canelo. I really ain't. And I'm glad Oscar, even though he's salty, even though he's sour, I'm glad he's punking. Yeah? Canelo will never fight him. He's too young and too talented. Unfortunately, I'd like to call Oscar a liar, but that's what the evidence shows. Oops. Yeah? The evidence doesn't show that he want to fight him, does it? And to be quite honest with you, how many young and up-and-coming bulls has Canelo fought? Okay, I'll give him Bivol. He lost. Yeah? Billy Joe, 160. Caleb Plant, unproven. Like I said, Benavidez has had a tough fight with Gavril. That was certified. That really was certainly a world championship eliminator at the minimum. Most of these guys would not beat Gavril. He's earned his shot. Give the man his shot. And I'm so sick of these governing bodies. The WBC should be on Canelo's neck right now. I bet you're not. I mean, the WBC is a Mexican organisation. What does that say about the organisation? We allow our champions to pick and choose who they fight based on race. What the fuck? Strip this guy and get this guy out of here. The WBC needs to pull up on Canelo and say to him, you're fighting Benavidez next, or you're being stripped. Simple as that. Yeah? No negotiation, no waffling. Simple as that. But yeah, I'm glad. I hope Oscar de la Sniffer stays on this narrative. Well, it's not a narrative, it's the truth. Truth is, the first up-and-coming, young, strong bull Canelo's got to face. He got problems. He picking and choosing. Nah, that's not how it works. Especially as undisputed champion. There is no picking and choosing. You fight the best or you drop the belts. Simple as that. I ain't trying to hear no more. Yeah? I heard some clowns. Oh, Canelo's earned the right. Canelo ain't earned shit. He's been beating up small fry bums and old dudes. And by the way, running out of gas whilst doing so. Weird ass man fans, 100%.